So last Saturday was an event called Bandicross, and it was hosted by a friend I met through the channel named John. It was up in Cleveland Heights at Forest Hills Park. I decided to ride my bike up there, so I dropped down into the valley, hopped on the towpath. At the Big Bend trailhead, I met up with Brad and Micah, who rode with me. It was a beautiful fall day. A little chilly, but not cold, just kind of a crisp, pretty day with that perfect blue sky. The leaves are changing. We then met up with the lanky cyclist at, Red Lock Trailhead, and he rode with us for a while. So cruising through the valley, just really pretty, like I said, perfect day for a long ride. We didn't really make a route. In my head, I was thinking it's usually about 35 to Cleveland, and then it'll be a few extra miles over to Forest Hills Park. So anyways, we were cruising along. Lanky suggested that we check out the mountain bike trails, OECR trails, like in the Valley View area, whatever it's called. They have just put in a new pump track. So we were all like, oh yeah. And he's like, you could take the flow trails to get to the pump track without going on the really gnarly, I guess there's some older, primitive, rougher trails out there. So yeah, we were all on board with checking that out. We hit those flow trails. Really cool. I would definitely want to go back and explore more of that. When we got to where the pump track is, there was like this little barrier, we didn't think much of it and we went around it. The pump track looks absolutely brand new pavement. The sod was all wet and looks like it was just put in. Since the last photo I saw of the place, it was all just dirt. So we kind of start riding and cruising around, and there's hoses everywhere, and I don't know. It was kind of strange, but we didn't think much of it. And avoiding some of the jumps if you went into the grass, you could barely even ride. It was so soft and fresh. So anyways, we're doing this, and then I'm kind of riding around, and I look back, and Micah's bike is laid over, and Lanky is over there talking to him. So me and Brad curve back around. It turns out he hit one of the hoses and lost the bike from underneath him. And it sheared the derailleur hanger right off. So the derailleur was fine, the bike was fine, but no derailleur. And this is Micah's brand new titanium Atzo, less than 200 miles on the bike. Thank God nothing went wrong, seriously with the bike, and just the hanger broke, but still really sucks when you have a brand new bike and something like this happens. It's never fun, no matter how old your bike is. But, I was looking at it and figured, let's go to action and get this rideable. And so I just started, looking for a chain tool and stuff like that, and decided, we could put this in single speed mode. I've ripped off derailleurs before, and that's just kind of what you do. And I'm, we could at least get to Cleveland. Micah was saying something about, maybe it's time just to phone a friend and all that. I'm like, well, we're not that far. Why don't we just get the rest of the way? Anyways, a little fussing with the bike, trying to get the rear derailleur off completely. You don't have your shop tools. You just have what you have with you on the road. So did get it done. And then also a cool thing is this company sent me these modal, whatever, these infinity tools, which are kind of like fillet straps, but a little thicker, a little stretchier. And I was thinking, I'll try these out on some bike packing trips I have coming up. They didn't ask me for anything, so this isn't sponsored. They didn't ask for a video. They didn't ask for an Amazon review. They just sent them to me. And I had been wearing one like a bracelet because I saw that in their little promo video. Then you always have it on you. Well, it came in handy because that's what I used to tie up his housing and cable to his chainstay so it wouldn't slip off. So I do got to give a shout out that these things have already come in handy. So anyways, more on those some other time down the road when I find other uses for them. But yeah, we get back on the road, and then I'm talking to Micah about how he feels. And he was in a little too easy of a gear, but we did have some climbing coming up to get up into Cleveland and Cleveland Heights. We just rode all the way into the flats and then all the way down Euclid. That was the route we decided to choose. I didn't realize, since I was so focused on fixing his bike, that he had dislocated his pinky and then put it back in place himself while all this was going on. So yes, he was a little more rattled than I had realized at the moment. But anyways, we did get up to Cleveland Heights, climbed up past Little Italy and all that, even did some cool brick roads through University Circle, all that stuff. We went to Bottle House for lunch, had a beer, and really good lunch. Bottle House now has Farmer's Feast, which I've been to a couple of their other events, which the food was just absolutely excellent. So then we went from there. It was only a mile down to Forest Hills Park. We actually passed Ben and Aaron. They were in Aaron's car, and Ben brought his bike up. The reason they drove is because Ben had to work till 4 o'clock, and Aaron wasn't feeling that day like doing the full well, it was 50 miles by the time we got to Forest Hills Park. So what Bandicross is basically an unsanctioned, no permission to ask cyclocross race. So John put it together. Joy Machines helped sponsor, Roach Clips, Buddy Woody helped sponsor, and just kind of having a race in the park, in a park that I guess there's space for it and not overly trafficked. So it was kind of fun just to have like an event like that, and John put it together really well. Came up with some cool artwork for the whole thing. But I did everyone kind of rode, everyone who had a bike up there. Some other friends met us. All the Joy Machines guys were there, and some new people that I hadn't met before. But everyone kind of did a practice parade lap, as they were calling it. It's funny, when I was riding it in the grass I'll blame it on the 50 miles, but I was definitely feeling tired. I could barely keep up on the practice lap with everybody. So I wanted to take photos and video of the event instead, so I did not race. But I guess I have a better respect for some cyclocross because I've never jumped out on one of the practice laps, even when I've gone to watch cyclocross. But man, riding on the grass like that really takes it out of you. And this was a dry day, so the grass wasn't even super wet or muddy or anything like that. But the race was fun to watch. I think they ran 5 laps of the course. Buddy Rusty won the race, but even though people were racing and going pretty hard, it was still just kind of a fun event. Everyone was hanging out, having a beer, talking and chatting. So that was cool. I hope John does more of these in the future. Fun event to go to, fun event to hang out and just nerd out with other cyclists like always. So on the way home, Micah decided to put his bike on Aaron's rack and not ride home, which made sense. The bike was in a little too easy gear and stuff like that, and plus he had dislocated his finger. So Ben took his bike off, so me, Ben, and Brad decided to ride back to Akron. It was already getting fairly late, so most of the ride home down the towpath, we went back into downtown Cleveland, then back down the towpath, was in the dark. But there was, once we got to a certain point, there was this Canal 100 ultra marathon going on, and so there were people running through the night, and it kind of added a little bit of fun to the ride to see all the runners out with their lights and stuff like that, and just something going on, and the aid stations all lit up with Christmas lights and stuff like that made the ride just a little more enjoyable. I've done this once other time this summer. Riding home for 3 hours in the dark can get a little exhausting and old. So yeah, ended up getting home 99 miles. So I haven't got a century in this year. I'm counting this in my mind as a century, but I was by the time we got home, it was almost midnight. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not even going to ride that extra mile. I don't care. I'm not going to loop around. This is good enough for me. So all in all, just a great fall day out. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it for now. I am hitting the road tomorrow for Johnstown, PA for Higher Ground. So hopefully shoot some cool footage, meet some cool people out there, and have a video about that next week. So I will see you in the next one.